Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and another game between EG Demuslim versus ATN Socke here in the Xel'Naga Caverns, Protoss versus Terran. Good luck, have fun coming in from both of these players, and this should be an interesting game as I really like both of these players. Good luck, have fun, you should really love me, I will you when no one else dared. Alright, don't really know the contents of that, but yeah, anyways, back to the game. We have Socke spawning on the north side of the map as the red Protoss player versus Demuslim, who spawned on the south side of the map as the blue Terran. This map really doesn't have any favoritism for north versus south when doing any builds. We see Demuslim setting up a supply depot over here on the north side of the map. I like this play. It really prevents any cheese play coming in from the Protoss player. Protoss players often like to set up pylons here and then warp in gateways. By placing a supply depot here, you actually, I believe, steal one of the positions where a gateway could possibly go. Maybe if it was right here, it would have been even more perfect, but then it is also within range of any cannons that are on the low ground. Back here now we see a barracks being set up, so that's a very, very odd position for a barracks, not anywhere near that front door, and we'll see how exactly Socke and Demuslim will be how they will exchange these early blows and these early battles. Socke has yet to set up an assimilator just quite yet. It looks like he's going to do that now as I was questioning his build. So there's that assimilator coming in. We now also see a refinery that's already halfway completed. And now an SCV on the move over to the north side, and we'll see if this SCV will be able to do any significant scouting at all. Back over here, one pylon getting set up, perhaps for a Stargate, and just giving also a lot of sight, making sure that any medevacs that come along this area over here are revealed. And now this one SCV will be able to make it up that ramp in just a moment and see everything it wants to see in terms of the base strategy and what Socke is going for. By the looks of this, we know that Demuslim knows that Socke is doing a pretty standard build. He's probably looking for that extra pylon right now. Has to wonder where that pylon is. Yeah, Demuslim probably should be wandering around on the inside of the space just a little bit more, suspecting that there may be a proxy pylon, some proxy tech, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to come down over here to take a look for it. We do see some damage being dealt towards this one pylon here, but that is not very much at all. SCV still wandering around, still doesn't see all too much so far, and now we will be getting a Zealot out in just a moment. That SCV still sitting inside the base, not exactly sure what it wants to do, and now out comes a Zealot. That SCV needs to be careful. The SCV running through that mineral patch now, and the Zealot running the wrong way. Looks like that SCV is kind of stuck. Will it be able to escape out? It looks like it will be able to sneak through right there without even taking any damage. Nicely done by Demuslim, using the superior movement speed on that one SCV in order to get the heck out of there. But as soon as he does leave, we see the robotics facility come into play from Socke. Socke trying to make sure that there was no change in tech, and oh, I completely messed up the colors in this one. I thought they had chosen the same colors in the previous game, but it looks like they did not. A command center now coming in from Demuslim as well, so Demuslim going into a 1 racks build into a fast expansion. Normally that doesn't work out well against a Protoss player who is going for a 4-gate, but he could tell based upon the number of probes that were currently mining and the amount of gas that Socke most likely was going for more of a tech game, and now we see a robotics facility and another gateway finishing warping in. So we may get some Immortals, Marines, one SCV, 2 Marauders, and a Marine, perhaps going to try to test this front door. SCV should be able to gain sight, and oh, one poor probe may get shot down. No, is that probe going to get shot down? Oh, there's that force field. It looks like the probe will get taken down there, and now the Marauder was able to squeeze through. Now the Marauder trying to go after that one Stalker there. One Zealot trying to chase down another Marauder, so it's a Marauder and a Zealot, both sides trying to deal damage, and now this one Marauder will be forced to leave. Taking a look at the losses, it looks as though, yes, Demuslim on the losing end of that exchange, we do see 1 sentry, and that sentry does have enough energy for a force field and an observer moving out as well. That observer going to do some scouting and quickly see that Demuslim has opted to go for a fast expansion attempt, and he does not have enough of a standing army to really fight back against that. He is training up an Immortal, chrono boosting that out. That Immortal will come out and really challenge the firepower of those Marauders on that low ground there. And now SCV's already coming in. A mule now called in down over here as well, upgrading to an orbital command. And now those Marauders are on the run. As soon as they saw that one Immortal, the Marauders are like, I need to get out of here. The Stalkers, however, do have a decent movement speed, will be able to catch up and get some damage onto those poor Marauders there. That Stalker continuing to give chase. One Marauder down to 42 hit points. It looks like that Marauder may get sacrificed and will get taken down, down to 1 or 2 more hits in order for that Stalker. The Stalker getting, however, choked up behind that one Zealot, and now an Immortal, down it goes. So now we have a group of Marines and Marauders here. Stim pack nearing completion on that research. More Marauders coming in, and both sides are going to be able to take, or trying to trade armies at this stage. SCV's now coming in as well. Marauders quickly taking down that one Immortal. Marines with Stim doing a great job there. Guardian Shield now trying to kite some of those Zealots as well, but that Guardian Shield doing a great job, just severely limiting the amount of damage that those Marines are able to do. SCV's able to get a surround, and down go the rest of those units. And taking a look at the losses now, the losses 1175 versus 1025. So Socke losing out a little bit there, and now those Marines do have Stim. The Marines with Stim now going to try to give chase there. Immortal is going to get quickly taken down. Is the Immortal going to get shot down? Down it goes. Marines just trying to focus fire down the rest of those Stalkers. One Marine down, and now nothing is left. 3 Marines against 2 Stalkers. However, the Marines do have Stim pack, and now going after this one last Immortal there, trying to use that Stim move and attack that one Stalker down to 8 hit points, 3 hit points, and down it goes. So nicely done. The Muslim using just inferior forces in terms of numbers and firepower with proper focus fire and great use of Stim pack, giving chase against those Stalkers and coming out barely ahead. The Investor and the Harvester count completely shows a different story right now, as the Muslim has a sizable lead in economy. 500 minerals every minute. Socke is going to still take some time, about 30 seconds, before he can start saturating this mineral line over here. He is getting that Robotics Bay up, or is already up, so we should be getting Colossus out. And those Colossus are going to be able to deal a severe amount of damage to the mass infantry army of the Muslim. The Muslim does have the factory out now. He is getting that reactor, and he is also getting into that starport. So we are going to see some MMM play. And after so much time, 7 months into StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, players are finding out that MMM is still one of the best strategies in the game in order to be used, as long as you can control your units against Colossus and High Templars very effectively. The Marine coming in, able to quickly scout out that there is an expansion here, so he knows that at some point he does need to attack. If he doesn't attack, then the Protoss player will be able to macro up a very large army of Colossus. Those Colossus are very difficult to deal with once they reach a critical number, a critical mass of Colossus against an infantry army. Those Marauders and Marines don't stand a chance, as they just tend to take up a lot of damage from that splash damage. And now those Marines are trying to pull back. It looks as though, yes, the Destructible Rocks down to 47 hit points, and now running all the way home. The Marines and Marauders could have stimmed back, turned around, and got some damage, but there is a Colossus there. And we now see what Engineering Bay getting the level 1 weapons upgrade, and now also researching the extended thermal lance range. The Observer parking itself outside the front door, giving sight into this location here. Observer still wandering around SCVs, and now a Viking is in the air. So double training Viking, no, single training Vikings. I'm not quite sure why he isn't going to try to double train them. He may not have enough gas. No, he should have enough gas, but in comes the Colossus now. The Colossus getting a lot of damage across those SCVs, able to just take down the mineral line very easily. Marauders and Vikings now giving chase. Down goes the Observer. Marines and Marauders are trying to stim. No, not going to stim, and now the Colossus is pulling back. Yeah, the Colossus did get 1 round of attack onto those destructible rocks, but those rocks are already down to 23 hit points. Vikings in the air, and now we see another reactor swap, so it is going to be able to double train Vikings, or quad train Vikings, or quad train medevacs, or, you know, 3-1-2-2, however you want to look at it. The Muslim now going into mass infantry play, Viking as support. The Marauders and Marines, I'm gonna get that level 1 weapons upgrade in just a second. Socke, on the other hand, doesn't have a forge yet, so he is not going to be able to really upgrade any of his ground units, and that may be his mistake. The upgraded ground units really help out, especially that ground armor in conjunction with Guardian Shield, when you are fighting against a Terran player who is going mass infantry. The Marines now deal 7 damage per attack. I've said this before, Marines have a very fast rate of attack. but have a very difficult time getting through thick armor. And with the Guardian Shield, in addition to the base armor of Colossus and Stalkers and Zealots, you're really able to add a base of 3 armor, maybe even up to 4 or 5 armor, severely reducing the amount of damage that Marines are able to do. Vikings also have a relatively slow attack rate, but they also attack with that double missile. So with that double missile attack, if you have that Guardian Shield, the Vikings are only able to deal, instead of 28 damage of attack against a normal target, they're only able to deal 22 damage attack. So that's about a 30% decrease, maybe 40% or 35% decrease, somewhere in that range, and that gives a lot of additional life and a lot of additional longevity for those Colossus to just continue to use that very, very effective splash damage. High Templars now being warped in as well. Those High Templars in the back of that base, and now slowly getting that energy. We see 1 High Templar with enough energy. 2 will be able to get some energy, as well as the Marauders and the Marines are on the move with Vikings in the air. That is a lot of Vikings. 9 Vikings in the air. I do not believe they will be able to one-shot any of those Colossus, and not, especially if there is that Guardian Shield, but that will severely reduce the amount of damage that those units are able to deal with. We also see some Marauders here, and this is not going to be very good at all. Depends on who gets those Psi Storms and who's able to get those Guardian Shields and those spells up much, much more quickly. We can see the Vikings all just sitting on top of that Psi Storm, how quickly they were shot down there, but the Colossus already took a lot of damage as well. 1 Colossus is left, and now those Marauders trying to walk back through those force fields, not looking very good at all. And now the Medevac's going to drop up onto that high ground. Stalkers are coming into play, now getting some more damage here. We see the Colossus now trying to get some damage as well. Stalkers coming in as well. 1 Colossus, very, very low on hit points, has to be careful. The Medevac has been shot down. The Stalkers are going to be able to finish off the rest of this attack here, and the Muslim has been countered. So Socke using those Psi Storms, getting those Psi Storms on those Vikings and those infantry units, and that just paid off in full. We now see some cannons also being warped in as well. So Socke trying to take up a 3rd base, but Marines going to quickly try to come in and stim, try to take it down. A lot of damage will be dealt. Marauders getting that stim, or sorry, those concussive shells onto that 1 Archon there. And now this is a very, very large group of Marauders and Marines. They will not all fit into that Medevac, so some of those units will be left behind. Unfortunately, is the Muslim actually going to elevator drop and then try to save the rest of those units? And he may try to do that. We do see 1 Colossus over here. The Colossus now trying to catch up to those units, and now the Marauder is able to get some sight, get some damage onto those low ground units there. And now we see more of those pylons getting taken down. The Marauders going after that 1 Colossus. Down it goes. And now more damage is being dealt. In comes another Archon. Archon dealing some splash damage on those Marauders. Zealots trying to give chase. However, the Marauders are a little bit faster because they are not getting slowed down by concussive shells. Also, Zealot charge has not finished being researched yet. That Zealot should be able to finish off both of those Marauders, and down it goes. We now see 1 Marauder here. That Marauder somehow able to stick in that fight still. We also have another probe here. Back here, we all have a planetary fortress. Our planetary fortress set up at the gold mineral patch, and now we may have another drop. No, not a drop, just Vikings in the air as those probes are pulled off the mineral line in just a second. Taking a look at the harvester count, both sides about even, as another engagement happening here. Marauders and Marines trying to fight. Guardian shields and the Stalkers also pushing out, but there are no weapons upgrade that I can see, only the Zealot charge. And now that the infantry is going to be upgraded 2-0 upgrades on those infantry units, and that they're going to be able to deal a lot of damage. 1 Medevac now coming in and needs to unload its cargo very, very quickly. Otherwise, that's going to get cleaned up. Another Marauder on the low ground joining in on that action, perhaps able to get off another shot. No, unable to. Gonna instead take down that pylon here. Another Psi Storm cleaning up some of the probes. And now 1 poor Zealot, forget what side he's on. Stop attacking your bases. Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Come on, seriously, Socke, why are you hitting yourself? Back over here, we now see Marauders and Marines with some Medevacs once again on the move. That 1 Zealot still doesn't like that Nexus for some reason, and still trying to clear it out. Another engagement here, Marauders and Marines. Are we going to get a Psi Storm? Yeah, there's that Psi Storm. Stalkers trying to finish off the rest. A nice feedback onto that 1 Medevac. Marauders now able to hit up onto that high ground. Stalkers now coming in as well. Zealots coming in. And now in comes another drop on the backside. So the Muslim just doing a great job here. Just doing multiple drops in different locations. Getting a lot done. And now maybe able to snipe down, finishing off a lot of those units. Taking a look at the harvester count. 57 compared to 75. High Templar now quickly getting taken down once again. And now just a lot of damage to be had. Socke trying to fight an army that seems to be everywhere at once. And right as I say that, a new group of Marines and Marauders coming in over here. One High Templar doesn't have enough energy for a Psystorm, trying to run away. That High Templar now rushing back into action before those cannons are getting more damage. In comes one Psystorm there. No photon cannons here. And now we should get another Psystorm. There we go. Cleaning up the rest of that Marauder Marine army. 8 kills for that one High Templar. Unit count though, 55 Harvesters compared to 81. A food count, 145 versus 107. So more than half of the Muslims' army is simply workers getting a lot of minerals. Back here you can see another command center being set up, perhaps trying to take up another base. And this is all purely off of Marine Marauder play. And with some medevac support and Vikings, in comes some more High Templar. High Templar getting some Psystorm in. Still surprised that we haven't seen Ghost. Ghost are very, very effective against those High Templars, as they are able to get some EMP shockwaves off. Also, the Ghost can cloak and then use snipe, or just straight up attack in order to deal more damage. In comes some more Marines and medevacs dropping straight into the base. A lot of damage has been dealt. One Colossus already taken down. This High Templar needs to get off a Psystorm in order to fight back. There's one Psystorm, a lot of units walking through it. That High Templar is taken down once again. And now the Marauders going after more of those units. Another Psystorm coming in, perhaps one more in just a second. There we go. More Marines and Marauders are taken down. One Colossus back here trying to finish up the rest of this army. And now Socke is just losing a lot of resources. You can see though that the Muslim is losing more, but his Harvester count is the reason why he is able to. His Harvester count and his macro is just the reason why he is able to produce so many units. Marauders and Marines once again charging straight into this location over here. The Zealots unable to be in multiple locations at once. Colossus, and with their slower movement speed, unable to continue to engage. And now in comes some more Psystorms. Very, very nice getting those Psystorms in play with those force fields, but the Nexus was still taken down. And that's going to hurt the economy of Socke even further. 1,000 mineral difference between the mining between these two armies. And you can take a look army-wise, 165 versus 107. In comes more Guardian Shields. Those High Templars need to merge into Archons, and now there are units over here as well joining in on that fight. The medevacs really have nowhere to run, and now those sentries are just getting some damage in on those units there. Only 2 units in that group of medevac. We have another medevac over here already in wait, but really Socke doesn't know what is in that group, as another group of 2 medevacs coming in once again, just constantly toying, constantly harassing. Marauders and Marines trying to come in, trying to shoot down that last High Templar. That High Templar will deal some damage. More Marauders coming in here as well, trying to finish off this expansion over here, as we have another drop coming in here. So the Muslim is all over the place in a good way, and just causing his opponent to try to fight a war on multiple fronts. So very difficult. The multitasking of the Muslim, very, very effective. As more Psystorms and feedbacks hit a bunch of those medevacs, this infantry army will be neutralized. But now we have a planetary fortress here, so we now see the Muslim running off of only 2 bases, as the gold mineral patches are nearly mined out, and now Socke trying to run off of more mineral patches as well. Medevacs over here, still one Marauder trying to fight back against a larger army, and in comes Marines and Marauders once again. Psystorm hitting a whole bunch of Marauders and Marines. High Templars now quickly getting taken down. Colossus once again re-engaging, but no weapons upgrade at all. Production-wise, upgrade-wise, 3-0 upgrades on those Marauders and Marines against 0-0 unupgraded units here. That High Templar quickly going to get shot down here, and now these medevacs going to try to heal up the rest of those units and also deny this expansion over here from that high ground. Marauders and now Marines trying to engage. We do see Colossus, a lot of kills on that one Colossus, and now more damage is still needing to be dealt. Marauders and Marines coming back, trying to stim in, trying to get within range of that Colossus. Colossus now taken down once again, but more High Templar are coming in, as another swarm of units coming in just straight up the center, and now another command center trying to land here, as Socke already has a Nexus currently warping into place, so he will not be able to land. But Socke is now only running off of, what, 4 mineral patches now, just beyond saturation right there. Only 2 mineral patches here, and Socke says GG. Really well played by the Muslim. I haven't casted any of his games in quite some time, and that was just simply brilliant play. Seeming to be everywhere at once, trying to watch the mini-map, and it almost felt like every time that that Socke had a control, like almost had control on a drop or some aggression that Demuslim was going for. Demuslim would just engage another drop somewhere else. The action was all in Socke's base the whole entire, pretty much the whole entire match. Taking a look at the buildings, you see 11 barracks once again coming in from Demuslim. Only one with a reactor, the rest with tech labs. 2 starports with reactors, and then just constantly building a lot of units. We also do see that there is the Ghost Academy. The Mobius reactor was upgraded, but I don't think I ever saw one Ghost. Ghost would have been a nice addition, but he really didn't need it. Demuslim also having another command center here. That's kind of funny that there's actually more command centers on the map than places that he can really set up. No, oh, there's still another location here. So yeah, he could have set up another expansion at his opponent's gold mineral patch. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this really impressive Terran versus Protoss play here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. I know it was just Marine Marauder medevac with Viking support, and I know that seemed very vanilla just on that description. But without watching this game, without knowing how well Demuslim was able to effectively pull off those drops in multiple locations, you wouldn't really be able to appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.